like it all actually branched from that first deal I closed. It was for $50,000 for a family.
Hey everybody, it's David Church here with Surplus Funds. I want to welcome Dylan Hepner. Dylan, welcome and thank you for being on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Absolutely. So Dylan, you came in the program. When did you join Surplus Fund?
I believe it was in July of last year, so 2021.
July. And you went through our coaching program. You got a check within 8 weeks or 12 weeks?
It was within 8.
You even got COVID during that time. I remember that too.
Yeah. Back in August, I was out for like 3 weeks.
Okay, awesome. And how much was your first check?
$5,584, I believe.
Okay. And what did you do to get that check?
Honestly, I was just about working full time, and all I was doing was calling every single second I had. I was probably about 3 hours a day, 6 days a week that I was consistently, making calls, doing my follow-ups. The first client I closed, it probably took me a solid like 2 weeks to get my footing just with making phone calls. I had never done cold calling before. So it was, kind of brushing that rust off, getting my footing with the script, getting comfortable talking to people who had never spoken to me before and didn't know who I was, building that trust with them. I would say after like the 2 week mark, it was like that third week came around and I had 3 people say yes to me in that single week. And then the first deal ended up closing at that $5,000 mark. It was for $50,000 that I closed the deal for. And it was crazy. Yeah, it was just a simple, like doing the same small thing of calling every day and doing my follow-ups just consistently is all it really was. It wasn't difficult. It just took time.
What in the program specifically helped you to be able to get that success?
The coaching, having that, if I had a question, I could get it answered. Obviously the biggest thing was going through and learning what this even was, but then being able to, when I had a question, I could ask it and have it answered. It was like an anti-roadblock system. Anytime anything came up, I was always able to get around it.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, it's awesome. And I remember you were going through that, and I remember the questions. And in your case, I remember like we've got some automations. We have some various techniques that you can use within the program. And you came in and you started your business small from the ground up, and you were in increments, and financially you could only afford to do certain things, and you did those and you got your first check, and then you reinvested in your business. And I love that. In 8 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I was broke as a joke when I started.
I remember that.
And obviously COVID didn't help and everything. However, I took all of it and reinvested, and it was the best decision I ever made. Making that decision to reinvest all of it changed everything.
You've tried other programs too, correct?
I've tried everything under the sun. Not for, surplus funds. Obviously, this is like really one of the only ones out there. However, when it came to, businesses and starting businesses, I've done social media marketing. I've done e-commerce stores. I've tried trading for 4 years. But this was the first thing that worked for me and work in, honestly kind of fast in comparison.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And if I asked you again, why did you join the program? What would you say?
When it first happened, it was honestly a little of desperation to make something work. I knew I wanted to be in business. I knew I had the right mindset to make something work, and I just needed the right vehicle to get me there. And after, watching everything, and it really just was a leap of faith, and knowing that this was an untapped market, knowing that I wasn't going to go in with a ton of saturation and other people doing the same thing. And that, I think, was the biggest reason I decided to pull the trigger.
Awesome. Now, one of the big things is about me is I always ask people, what is your why? What would be your why in this business?
That's a good question. I would say my why was because I was $26,000 in debt.
That I did not know.
Yeah, I was $26,000 in debt when I started all in credit card debt. And it was because of 2020, I lost my job initially. And I did not get paid unemployment or anything. It took way too long for anyone to get back to me about it. And I lived off credit cards for a year. And those credit cards were taking at about a 24% interest rate APY. So that was my why to make something work, which was a pretty good motivator.
Absolutely. It sounds like you believe in the script. It sounds like you were making the phone calls. I'm looking at my questions I have for you. What is your mission, or what is your vision, I should ask you right now, within the program? And for those of you who don't know, Dylan was doing very well. He started marketing. He started getting more deals. He started turning into testimonies. He started helping people. So I called Dylan one day and I said, hey, I want you to come and coach for us, and I want you to be one of our coaches. So I actually took Dylan and brought him in as a coach, which he's done a fantastic job of coaching. Just what's your vision in the company, and even when you're talking to people?
Oh man, my vision, it's always been the same since I started. Well, no, that's a lie. When I first started, my vision was money. That's what it came down to. I was in a fight or flight scenario for a lot of years, and it was money. But once that issue was solved and I felt comfortable again and I felt calm and relaxed, it kind of switched and it turned into okay, now how many people can I help? How many people can I, like, it all actually branched from that first deal I closed. It was for $50,000 for a family. It was his father that had passed, and this family was in a very rough financial situation. And hearing that phone call of giving these people $45,000 after taxes, state fund, it's all after tax. They don't have to pay taxes on this. $45,000 changed their lives. They paid off their cars. They put a large sum of it towards their mortgage. They were like just in a completely different, like, life-changing money. I was able to get these people, and I didn't have to charge them anything up front to do so. And that feeling changed a lot for me in terms of where I wanted to go personally and what I wanted to achieve. And it changed into being able to help as many people as I could and give them the ability to have life-changing money, quote unquote. And that's what it started with my business. I started going way harder after that and helping as many people return their funds, even if it was just a couple $1,000s, especially with our time. That's a lot of money for a lot of people that, that can help with food on the table. And then when you approached me, I think it was back in December, about coming on as a coach, it just drove that why even further, because now not only could I help people in my business that was, obviously starting to get a little bit more scaled and took a lot less of my time into it. Now I had the opportunity to help more people, not only, get their money back to them, but teach them how to do this. And just like a sort of domino effect, being able to teach people how to make life-changing money for themselves so they could go and help more people get life-changing money back to them, if that makes sense. That's kind of like my big picture, is just to have as many people get life-changing money as possible, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, and as you say that, it makes the hair on my arms stand up. I know that sounds weird, but it's like I've handed people checks. I've had people break down crying. I've had people tell me how life-changing this is for them. And there's no greater feeling in the world. And every once in a while, somehow I'll cross these people on social media, on my LinkedIn account, something like that. And people are like, oh, yeah, you really helped me out. And it's awesome to know that you helped somebody with 45,000. It's even awesome for me to know that we trained you on how to do that and that you got that. And you're able to do that, and you have other people doing that. So a lot of people are going to be watching this video. A lot of people are coming in the program. They're going to be here for the first time. They're going to be watching this. If you were brand new into surplus funds, what advice would you give to someone brand new to the program?
Not even a ton of advice. It's a single word, and it's just consistency. It's all it takes. I see this in students, being a coach now for, these last like 4 months. The biggest thing I see more success out of the students that consistently call 1 hour a day, 6 days a week, than I do in the students who call 1 day a week for 8 hours. It's all about the consistency, and it doesn't even have to be big, like these outrageous things like I'm 8 hours a day every single day. That's not how it works. You have to just consistently do those small things. And that includes when you first get started too, learning. You have to just learn consistently and learn from those failures, mistakes you make. But yeah, no, I would say the one thing for anyone getting started, not even just in this business, but anything in general, is doing something small consistently every day.
100%. For people that this doesn't work out for, why do you think it doesn't work out for them?
That's a loaded question, because there can be a lot of things. I think for some level, people get scared. Cold calling is a scary thing, especially when you're first getting started. So people who say it doesn't work out for them, if you could take a look at their phone records, you can see exactly why it doesn't work out for them. A lot of people just don't call enough. A lot of people don't get past, like I said in the beginning, it took me, 2 to 3 solid weeks of calling before I knew, like, even remotely what I was doing. And that was after going through the course and everything. And it just, because a lot of this is just through experience. You have to get on the phone. You have to have people cuss you out. You have to have people, tell you you're a scam, and you have to learn how to rebuttal that and build trust. And it really just comes with experience. And most people don't get past that phase. And that's where I see a lot of, getting on some of these coaching calls and students and stuff. It's like, hey, this isn't working for me. Why am I not getting deals? Well, hey, you're not getting deals because you've called 3 times. Like, that's the biggest thing, that people aren't consistently calling, not even that they aren't calling enough, just not doing it for a long enough period of time.
And, there's that phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. I mean, you're calling someone, you're letting them know that they have money they didn't know they had, you're offering to help them. We have the contracts available for you. Say you're doing a tax overage, or you're doing a mortgage overage, or even a state fund or bankruptcy fund. We've got contracts for all 4 of those categories. And you call someone, you convince them, you use the script, and if they say no, you have to move on. Sometimes you call them back, and I've gotten deals where people have said no to me, and I'm consistent, and I come back around, they say okay or yes, or let's go ahead and get it rolling. So sometimes you want to just put those people on your list and call them on off days and continue marketing. What's unique about what you said, and I want to speak about you on the interview, is in 2014, I could not make a phone call. It was very hard for me to make a phone call. And I had to really sit down and reflect, why can't I do this? Like, why can't I make a phone call? This needs to be the business. This is what I'm wanting to do. And someone who was in the classroom for 18 years, and I had a routine and a system, I'm now going out into my own territory, into my own world. And I would put that down as, just starting off with that 1 call a day and checking off that check mark. And it might be the hardest thing you have to do. And then make another call another day. And then the 3rd day, make 2 calls, and then revolve in that hour a day you're talking about. Because there's a lot of people that are going to be on here watching this for the first time. And I hear that a lot in the program, like you're either successful or you're not successful. And what's the difference? And I think what you said is consistency. I agree with that 100%. You absolutely need that in the business.
Yeah. People also don't follow up enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. Yeah. Some people will get a no, and then that's it. They never touch that contact again. Or, someone will get a maybe, and then, they don't plug it into their CRM, and they forget about these people. Like, they're losing so much money on not doing follow-ups. That's a big one I see too.
100%. So yeah, I appreciate this, man. Appreciate your interview, and just wanted to get this out there and let people know that it works. Get this on the coaching calls. Any other bit of advice? If you don't have any, that's okay. Any other bit of advice, like someone's brand new in the program, they're opening up and they're seeing week 1. What advice would you give this person that's just brand new in the program?
Don't get intimidated, because it looks like a lot when you're first getting started, but so does any business. And if you want to make a business work, you genuinely have to shift your mindset from making $100,000 in 90 days to making $100,000 in 5 years. Like, not saying that you won't do it in 6 months or a year, but I'm saying you got to change your mindset to accept the long term, because that's what it really takes to be successful in any business, not even just this, but a long-term mindset towards things, because that's also how you help build a level of consistency, which it all, revolves back to. If you're going to be doing something for the next 5 years, it shouldn't be too hard for you to make a few phone calls every day.
Absolutely. And starting off that small and working your way up the ladder. And most people that I know, it's very common to hit turbulence in the business, is what I'm hearing you say too. And I think all of our coaches are making 6 figures a year right now plus, and we have a lot of success in the program. But I've heard you also say that you see people hit turbulences and they need to know how to work around those and jump on and get advice from the coaches. And all of our coaches, except for one who was doing it before, are a product of the program, and they're doing very well, and they're happy to coach and help others. So just absolutely love that. Yeah. And that's it. So I appreciate you being on. I appreciate the advice that you're giving everyone. And thank you for your time. Guys, this is Dylan, and he's been in the program and has done very well. So thanks for watching, and thank you, Dylan.